I'm Peter Ray, I'm the Dean of the College. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the background of Nazarene Theological College so you have an insight into its DNA and character, the students who compose the learning community here, what you're letting yourself in for if you come and study here. Let me start with a little bit of history. The college was founded in Glasgow in 1944, so in the middle of the war, in the middle of the Blitz and the blackout, the days of rationing, founded with just 2 students, really in a very difficult time for society, a bit like the times we're living in at the moment. The college was a different place than it is now in many ways, many fewer students, and the days were different. The days started at 6 o'clock in the morning with morning prayer. Students were expected to get out of bed at the crack of dawn. Then they'd be in class through the rest of the morning and spend the afternoons working in the grounds, digging potatoes or feeding the chickens and doing things to help keep the costs down. Now, you'll be delighted to hear we don't make you do that anymore. But there is something about that holistic approach to learning that we want to keep. We still see college as much more than just the time you spend learning in the classroom. It's also about times of prayer and worship, about spiritual formation, about working hard and giving yourself voluntarily. And so, although some things have changed, others haven't. The college moved here to Manchester in the late 50s with about 25 students. And then in the 80s and 90s moved to degree granting status and now is a partner of the University of Manchester. Let me tell you a little bit about Nazarene Theological College today. We have about 330 students enrolled, and of those about 60% are undergraduates and 40% are postgraduates on MA and PhD programs. They come from all around the world. We have students from 30 or more countries represented in our student body, and they come from a range of Christian traditions, really across the evangelical spectrum. And of course, whereas in the early days, NTC did not have any kind of degree program, now all our degrees are awarded by the University of Manchester, from BA through to PhD. I thought I'd show you a photograph of our recent graduation ceremony at the University of Manchester. It underlines a little bit how important community is to us. It takes place in early October, and so students come back because they're meeting with their colleagues, they're meeting with the people they built relationship with, the people who have become close friends and have established friendships that will stay with them through the rest of their lives. Let me tell you a little bit about what makes NTC distinct, a little bit about our character as a college. First of all, we're a worshipping community. We talk about ourselves as a confessional college. What we mean by that is that we don't just study religion, but we're part of a practicing community that worships together. We start the day with prayer, we join together for chapel, we sit in pastoral care groups. It's not unusual for your lecturer to start a class with prayer because prayer and worship infuses everything we do, everything we are. That Tuesday chapel is a key part of our week as we worship together. And if you're a student on placement, then you'll be involved in roles in local churches or other faith-based organizations. So worship is at the heart of who we are. We're also an academic community. As I mentioned, we're a partner college of the University of Manchester, and so we take study very seriously. Quite a high percentage of our graduates go on to a further degree, to master's degrees and doctoral degrees. We also have a diverse range of students. Lots of our students are mature. They come to college in their 30s or 40s or 50s, having felt a calling into a different career direction, often having felt God's thumb in their back to study and prepare for ministry. And so that makes for a really rich discussion, students who are highly motivated and have views on a range of issues. So we take study seriously. There's genuine debate on the big issues of life. And so in the classroom, you'll never get just one point of view on a subject. People will disagree on women in ministry, on the gifts of the Spirit, on predestination, on human sexuality, on whether the current pandemic is a judgment of God. All those sorts of things people will have a view on. And part of the joy of being in a place like this is seeing how that conversation flows and seeing how people learn from each other. Now, our students come from quite a broad range of backgrounds. And so we have in place things to support you wherever you come from. Some of our students have particular learning needs. They may have a physical disability, or they may have an assessed learning need, or they may have left school early, never thinking that they would come back and study later in life. And so all of our first-year undergraduates complete a study skills course to help you learn how to learn, to help refresh skills that you might have forgotten, or develop skills that you've never had in the first place. We also run a weekly peer learning session, a drop-in workshop to help you with the practical tasks of reading and note-taking and beginning to shape essays. We have a learning support team at college, and that's particularly there to help students with disabilities, right from the point of application, to help them through the disabled student application process and to get special assistance, so we can put systems in place to help them and support them. And of course we have a chaplaincy team who are there to support you with issues of pastoral care, where students have mental health needs. They're there to support them with that as well. We also have a residence community here at the college in Didsbury. We have space for about 30 students on campus. So most students, as you'll see, live off campus in the local area, or come from the northwest and just travel in from their homes. The single study bedrooms are of a high quality. They're all wireless, they're en suite, they're self-catered, and I might say they're very good value compared to student residences in the city. You get a good deal. We give priorities to first-year students and to international students, to students who aren't Manchester residents. So if you apply in good time, you're guaranteed to get a place in residence. As you'd expect, we have a covenant of Christian behaviour. It's a Christian community. And so we want a kind of agreed set of how we'll behave with each other. And living in residence is a fantastic experience. I can absolutely recommend it.